Hi, welcome to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media in Gresham, Oregon. This is a special version of Community Hotline called The Pulse. In this edition, we talk about MetroEast and all the wonderful and fun things that are going on there. And with me tonight is my co-host for The Pulse, Taj Middleton.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks.
I love coming back to The Pulse.
I know you do, Josh. I can tell. And you're in a good mood today. But we've had a full year, and this is our 30th year, MetroEast's 30th year in the community.
Yep.
So that's a big deal. So we'll have more about what's coming up to celebrate a little later. But the 30th year anniversary, we didn't start as MetroEast. It's gone through a couple different name changes. Started out at Mount Hood Community College.
That was MCTV.
And Multnomah Cable Access. I always forget which one was first. I wasn't here then. But there are some people here that have been around since the very beginning.
And that's an amazing thing, Monica, for a volunteer organization to have volunteers that have actually been with the organization for 30 years.
Yeah, that's
for as long as the organization has been, that is an amazing accomplishment for any nonprofit. And not that I'm biased, but I think that speaks volumes.
I think it does too. And staff too. We've had staff here almost as long too.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So,
people don't want to leave.
No, they don't. So that does say something good about us, I think. So, so we'll be talking about the 30 year and talking about some of the celebrations that we have going on. But first, we couldn't do it without some of the partnerships we have in the community.
Absolutely.
And we've had some great ones. One that was a really big deal this year was Rock the Block.
Yeah, that was a great festival. It was Pathfinders of Oregon. And
good nonprofit in the
great
Rockwood
nonprofit
area.
In the community, and it was over at Plaza del Sol.
And right in the Rockwood community, right by the
Absolutely,
Max station there.
And there was food and
music
and games, and we had balloon animals at our tent.
We had the longest line at our tent.
The balloon animals were very popular. But basically what it was all these local nonprofits and resource providers coming together in one place to just kind of let the community know that, hey, this resource is here for you, for your kids. And it was just a great afternoon. We got a little windy on Saturday, but we made it.
There were so many people there.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because that community has needed a little uplifting lately. They've had some issues, and it really brought the community together.
Yes.
So I think we'll be doing that again next year. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
So another thing was the Center for the Arts. They're one of our partners too, and we worked with them on several things. One was Music Mondays, which we've done. I think this is our 3rd year doing that, where we actually tape some of the concerts, music in the park.
I've been here for 3 years, and you've been doing it since I've been here.
Okay,
so.
then 3 years. It is. So that's really fun, and that's a great opportunity for our volunteers to get out there and learn how to use the micromobile, where we have several different cameras and shoot a really good music event, and we air those on our channels.
Yeah, and we usually have a really good mixture of volunteers that have been doing it for a while and volunteers that have been newly certified, as you said.
Right.
So it's a great place for folks to network. So if they're looking for crew, or if they're, wanting to produce their own programming. And matter of fact, one of our volunteers that did camera on Music Mondays will be producing his first show on Friday. In this here very studio,
in this very
so
spot.
That's exciting.
Great. Another event that I wasn't able to go to, but I think you did, was the Jazz Festival, the Mount Hood Jazz Festival.
Oh yeah, we actually tabled. We had our volunteer Lisa. We had Lisa Lyons and her daughter come and volunteer at our table, and Diane Mascarenas volunteered, and
then you had we were covering it too.
And we were. I can't forget that because I'm looking right at one of them. But yes, we had a crew of amazing volunteers on camera, running the switcher. I mean, it was a really good situation there at the Mountain Head Jazz Festival.
Great talent.
And it was great talent.
Yeah.
And we're actually running that on the channel and on our Cloudcast channel, and that's at metroeast.peg.tv.
So everything we do is there too. So
everything we do on this channel is on our Cloudcast.
So we have some footage of all those wonderful volunteers and the behind the scenes stuff at the Jazz Festival. So we should take a look at that now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Okay, so that looks like that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a hot, hot day, but we had our tent set up, and I just have to give major props to Emily because she set that up like a serious green room. They had some real good craft services happening in that tent.
Nice.
But yeah, our volunteers had a blast, and please forgive me, I can't name everybody, so I don't want to name one or two, but everybody got crew shirts. Yeah, MetroEast volunteer crew shirts, and it was a lot of fun and some great music.
Yeah, it sounded great. And for those who don't know, Emily is our co-producer of the show and the director.
Yes, she is.
Props to you, Em. So, and you mentioned the volunteers. We couldn't do anything here without our volunteers.
Nope.
And we train them how to do their own shows, to work on our shows, to work, it's a really great opportunity for people, but we also celebrate them in other ways, like our annual volunteer appreciation dinner, and we had a picnic this summer.
We did.
We always have a picnic, so at Red Sunset Park, and I had family obligations, couldn't be there, but you were there, so we had some pictures from it. Maybe we could look at those, and maybe
let's recap that. We had tons of fun. So that's Lauren getting the grills ready there. We usually run 2 grills. We do hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs. That's Seth,
veggie burgers.
Our new guy, and David. There's Nanette, and we just, lots of fun. Games. We did the beanbag toss this year. That was for the young folks, and everybody got prizes there.
That's fun. That's always a good time.
And it was just a beautiful day. And that is the ever popular sandbag toss, in which our volunteer Danny De Los Santos had been practicing all year to place in the beanbag toss. So those are some of our winners there with their MetroEast
the
watermelon shirts on. Yes, that's Count the Candy. And I don't want to contribute to cavities and diabetes, but people love that game there.
A lot of winners,
Yes, that is Larry Smith
on the right, and John Thompson,
yes,
Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth, absolutely. And we had a little impromptu jam session happen there, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's always a good time. Those shirts are cute.
And they won those in the beanbag toss,
little
actually.
Guy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, everybody got shirts. So, and that's actually kind of something, as you know, that we've been doing. We have our collectible 2014 or volunteer shirts.
Because not everybody gets those.
Not everybody gets those.
You pass out the polo shirts at the volunteer dinner. Everybody gets those.
But you get those when you
coveted. I don't even have one of those.
I don't have one either.
Dang it, we'll have to play some of the games next year. But because we do events quite well, I think, and last year you helped organize our open house, our Friends and Family Day.
Which was
really, really
Day.
Successful.
Yes.
So we're going to do it again.
Yes, it is happening again this year, September 20th from 12 to 4. We're bringing back the Radical Surf Machine because that bad baby was really popular.
That was so fun.
We're going to have free food and games. We're raffling off an iPad mini, and we've got some fun tech bags that we're raffling off. So we've got little gift bags full of fun tech goodies there.
And people can, if people haven't been here before, it's a great opportunity to come in and check out our studio because we have a really cool facility
We
here.
have a great facility, and the facility is literally going to be open. And it's going to be open to anybody who wants to explore the green screen. That's going to be set up this year. We'll be doing shout outs again in Studio B. So this is just a great way to come out with your friends and family and see what we do here at MetroEast.
Good.
Hopefully get involved.
There you go. And we did get people involved last year from coming through
We
that,
did
so hopefully
we
will this
did
time.
get quite a few orientation attendees and some workshop attendees. So it's a great situation for the community.
And we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but right now we have some faces of MetroEast, some of the people that have been here in the past 30 years who have contributed in one way or the other, either staff or volunteers, and they're going to wish us a happy birthday for our 30th. So let's take a look at that now. I'll be back to the top, so yeah.
And he said, Jim, I want you to start working with Patty to see if we can develop some other programs.
And what kind of productions do they usually work on? Can you think of any?
Well, a lot of them produce their own shows, and they have their charitable organizations, their churches.
And what projects have you worked on this last year?
The Mystic and Mickey Parker's Singles on Parade.
Singles on Parade now, do you think?
Been on it.
You were?
Yes.
I just completed a program working with the Youth Employment Support Services where we hired at-risk youth.
This ordinance will be on the council agenda on September 16th. So first, what is a truancy reduction ordinance?
Happy birthday, MetroEast.
Happy 30th birthday, MetroEast.
Happy birthday, Feliz Navidad, joyeux anniversaire.
Sinh nhật chúc mừng.
30 is a big number. You've earned it.
Well, it's been 30 years. Wow.
I want to send huge congratulations to everyone involved with MetroEast.
Happy 30, MetroEast. Well done.
You're 30 years, you've grown.
30 years, wow.
Congratulations on all the work you've done for 30 years.
It is an absolutely great opportunity to be able to speak your mind and hold the line.
Happy birthday, great job, and keep up the good work, and God bless you.
To all of our friends at MetroEast, those on staff, the board, those who use the channels, those who volunteer, we wish you all the best. We congratulate you on 30 years of terrific service to your community, and we hope that that's just the start, that you'll have 30, 300, and 3,000 more.
Bravo, kudos, and salutations for the next 30 years.
So if you thought that first 30 was great, just wait for that second 30. It'll knock your socks off.
We're back, and now Taj is taking a little break from us because I want to talk with John Lugton, who is staff here. What's your title here, John? Production manager?
Production services.
Production services,
yes,
okay.
Yes,
well, welcome. Thanks for coming, John.
You're welcome.
I really like having people wish me happy birthday for my 30th. It's been a while. But that's kind of nice. Oh, yeah, thanks. But 30 years is a long time. You've been here, what, 9 years?
9 years,
yeah. So you've been here a while, too. I think I've got 7, so I'm behind you a little bit. But you and Emily have been working on a video to kind of wrap up 30 years, which is a huge undertaking. Mm-hmm. So that video is going to be integral to our celebration. So can you tell me a little bit about how you went about it and what the concept was for the video?
Sure. Well, I think it would have been easy to kind of just take a bunch of the the footage that we have from the vaults and
we have a lot, don't we?
Yeah, and put some royalty-free music behind it and just play that. But no, not
no,
for
you
us.
weren't going to go that easy.
No. We had to be more ambitious. So we thought that, you know, and we also didn't want to make something that was just like a 30-year video, because you want something with legs, something that's
that people will want to see in another 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so what we did was we took the overarching idea of kind of like the history of the movement, as in the PEG movement, and kind of how it got started, and then we kind of narrow it in a little bit more as into how kind of what was Multnomah Cable Access Corporation got started back in '84, and then we kind of look at the different aspects of us. So we look at our community relations, like this show, for example, and then we look at the public access, the education, and the government. And then we kind of come out with that with a kind of a view to the future. Some of it is not so nice, but we come out of it saying that, you know, hey, it really is, this is still a great place. It's still really super relevant to everything. You know, I mean, you look at this place, I mean, it's high tech. It's technology. We still have it. So,
and it's a great opportunity for people. I hope that some people that haven't heard of us before might see that video and say, "Hey, this is a really cool thing they have going on."
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah. So, so that's a huge undertaking. So, but it sounds like it might have been really fun.
It was fun. You know, you come across all these interesting historical facts about it that you kind of like, you're kind of like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because everybody says, well, you should look at this, and then you go and look there, and it's like, oh, and that unearths something else, you know. And unbeknownst to me, you know, 1984 in Astoria, that was supposedly the first cable signal that ever got broadcast, you know.
In the United States?
In the United States,
really?
even though there's couple of other states around the country who put claim to it, you know.
I'm sure it was Astoria.
Yeah, there's a plaque in Astoria that says, you know, and then, you know, it was just like this amazing period of time where things just came together, and it's called like the blue sky franchising period. And all of a sudden it's like the satellites and cable are kind of in existence, and cable, which I didn't really realize was just for folks in rural areas to get broadcast signals. But then suddenly, you know, there's HBO and there's like the Turner network. Suddenly satellites go up and they can send these signals everywhere in the country. So every cable company needed a franchise with cities, and so they went, we got to get into the cities, we got it, you know, you know, and part of them making money by using our public right of way was the fact that they had to make provisions, and they made some pretty good provisions in certainly this part of the country for public access and education and government. That's why we still have so many of these stations here.
They made some good provisions that kept us around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Of course, we had to hold up our end of the bargain by
doing
a good job.
I think we have done. You know.
I think we have too. So you learned something. You had some research there. You did some research. You found, you know, learned a lot of stuff. Were there any amusing moments or things that really surprised you, or that were fun?
I think when you look back at, you know, some of the, I mean, from everybody we interviewed, it was never difficult to get them talking, which is always good.
Yeah.
You know, it was never difficult to get anybody talking, and they have so much warmth and belief in all of this.
And just the whole concept.
The whole concept. It's incredible, and it's really reassuring when you can speak to somebody who's maybe only been a volunteer here for a couple of years, but they've got it. They understand the value of not only like the training that we offer, but the value of actually the channels we provide, and now of course, you know, they're putting it online, they're using it on their YouTube, and there's like, you know, where else can you
do that? Yeah.
And you know, that was surprising. And then when you speak to some of the veterans or some of the early employees, you know, I mean, it sounded like a pretty wild and woolly place to kind of be working.
Still be that way.
Yeah. I mean, they got to do a lot of. I mean, they started from literally nothing. Yeah. So I mean, they had a lot of flexibility in what they could do. You know,
maybe not quite as rigidly controlled, maybe as you know, but we still have a lot of freedom. I mean,
for
this
sure.
is not censored TV, and you know, I remember the late Laird P. Ross. Who was one of my favorites because he was such a character here, and he was one of our very prolific producers. But he always said, "This is the last great American soapbox. This is a place where you can say whatever you want to say and get out whatever message you want." You know, you can't do that on network TV.
And you'd be
know?
surprised in speaking to volunteers how many of them actually tip their hat to Laird P. Ross. You know, I mean, I don't know what it was that Laird had, but he was a great ambassador and a great spokesperson. And there are still a lot of volunteers here who he got to come in through the door.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah, and I like remembering him that way. You know, he brought a lot of great people in here, and people do stick around. So you have brought a little clip from the.
Oh, sure,
from the anniversary, or for the thing that you're doing, the MetroEast, the early years, is that?
Yeah, it's the early years. It's a kind of a teaser, and you know, it's not that montage. I'm sorry, but it's a few clips from the early years with some of the interviews that we conducted earlier in the summer with some of the early employees, and it really just gives such a great flavor of how this place all got started, and like how they you know, there's a sparkle in their eye when they talk about it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And I'd like to see that. Let's take a look at that now, John. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Don't touch that dial. You're here for a reason.
I'd like to know, what is the significance of the groundbreaking for Multnomah Cable Access Corporation?
Well, it's going to be our home. We've been operating out of a temporary facility, kind of scattered through Mount Hood Community College.
You know, we had nothing when we got going, so there was a chance to build a studio from the ground up. Master control, everything, layouts.
We were in the back of a classroom, not much wider than what this room is back there.
It was wild and woolly days. I'm thinking that in those days we had playback out of a closet.
We were in the process, when I joined, of building a new building from the ground up adjacent to the college's television program. There was the original build, which was done in a fairly neat and workmanlike way. But immediately upon getting it up and running, our needs were growing. So we were adding staff, adding programs. So as soon as it was done, we were already tearing it up and adding on, while we were, of course, in production and on the air. When I left, I was there 8.5 years, and when I was left, we were still adding wiring.
But right now, I bet you're probably asking yourselves, what does it take to get involved in community television? Is it really that difficult?
Big people, these are Samoans. Great big fellas.
Cause it's TV, and it's only by you. Put your friends to do it, you do it too.
My job was to help the public access producers produce their programming. People weren't experts on equipment, and it's hard to be an expert on equipment, but if you could kind of help guide them through at least their first project, you know, maybe they'd go on and produce more.
And the concept behind community television was that it was open for everyone.
I think I'm pretty good with advice.
This is just pretend. Hi there.
Early on, it was so new. It was something that most people, I think, thought was real exciting.
People really gravitated towards it, and people had a fantastic time.
Alex Quinn, the founding executive director, put together an amazing team of really enjoyable people.
Everyone believed so strongly in the ability to get the word out to the people, and it was unique. I mean, this was a new thing, right? It's like, come on in and make TV shows. We're going to show you how. We were all very proud to be a part of that. We were all very passionate about making the best programming that we could make. And we had a great group of community people.
We had a great volunteer base, a big volunteer base, and they were very dedicated volunteers. And it made it fun to work here because we'd have all these productions that we would put on for elements of the community.
I mean, it was all there. If it was being done on television, and many things that were not or should not have been done on television, we probably did it.
Uh-oh. Okay. Manufactured by? Oh, what a job! Yeah! Woo!
From basketball to skiing.
Mind your business.
Good morning, class.
Necesitamos que ustedes sean productores también.
I'm amazed at the changes in equipment. I'm amazed at the changes in the way we present messaging. It's completely different than what we started with. But the one thing after 30 years that hasn't changed is the excitement of the community to come in and make shows here. That's the one thing that hasn't changed.
That's funny. What the gentleman just closed with is exactly what I was thinking while I was watching that, is that, yeah, the equipment and everything has changed a lot. You know, we're now in high def. We have these, everything's digital. Everything has changed a lot, but really the whole concept is the same, and we still have great volunteers. We do some great programming. I mean, a lot of that stuff that's still here, and it's a fun place to be. It's a fun place to work. At least I think so. I don't know what you think, John.
Oh,
the
right.
boss may be watching.
Yeah,
so.
put me on the spot. Well, let me deflect that question completely. You know, it's really funny when they were talking about the old gear, you know, and they say, you know, I even think like, you know, playback was out of a closet, and they describe, and I didn't start doing kind of video production until the cameras had shrunk somewhat, even though in the early days you could pick up a beta cam and it was still like a ton of bricks on your shoulder. But I mean, they
do weightlifting to get ready to.
Well, that's what they're describing. I mean, they're describing like literally, you know, two people going out with like this monstrous like 36-pound camera with somebody carrying the recording deck behind it. Oh, wow. You know, and now I mean it's literally like you know, we have these great cameras, but they're really light. So lightweight. I know, and it's something else, you know, and you see like early on. I mean, I can't believe what it would have been like in, you know, 84, 85 or something like that, to actually have access to video cameras and to be able to edit, and you know, and it's kind of as we unearthed like more and more stuff, it's like, you know, we went with these Sony ES7 editing systems, and you know, hey, they weren't the most pioneering thing, but my goodness, it was non-linear editing way in front of anybody else kind of doing that stuff. So I mean,
so we're kind of pioneers, weren't we? I mean,
well, we try, we do our best. But you're right. I mean, the sentiment is that the enthusiasm for volunteering in what is a pretty unique environment, you know, I mean, it really does set us apart, because I mean, TV studios are great fun, and you get to do, you know, loads of amazing things. I mean, that's really what sets it all apart. And I think people still have that enthusiasm, and you still see it when folks are coming in and they have their idea, you know. And it's just like, whoa, I'm ready to go.
I can actually put it out there for everybody else to see too. And how am I going to do that? It's a very creative process. I mean, there's all that technical stuff to learn, but just the creativity of being able to, you know, figure out, okay, I've got this great idea. How am I going to get it out there? There's so many options, and our staff is here to, you know, help people along. So
and that's, you say, you know, like, oh, the job's, you know, exciting and stuff. And part of what makes it so exciting is the fact that we have this ever evolving and ever changing group of people who are coming through our doors. You know, and some of them will know from, you know, 9 years ago, and then suddenly 5 years later they'll be back and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go, and it's like, sorry, the gears all changed, but you could take a class.
We had a guy in here yesterday, or went through our orientation, who had been here in 1987 and had done a bunch of stuff, but then his life changed and he didn't have that, you know, opportunity to do that, but he was back, you know. He says,
that's amazing.
And he was so surprised that he was even in our database, but he was, you know. I said, oh, I see you took this class. Wow. So, but he said everything had changed a lot, but the whole feeling of the place was the same. So
I know, and I think partly when, you know, with the 30th, you know, anniversary video, it's so interesting, because you kind of start with that sentiment of like, you know, we have this great opportunity to seize upon all these technological advancements in the 70s and early 80s, and it's still the same deal now. It's like 30 years later, and we still have all these great opportunities.
We do, and there's always something new. Like now we get it into high definition. That's a big deal, and with the green screens and the, you know, it's all digital now. You can, you know, we could be doing this show from, you know, the beaches of Waikiki if we wanted to.
We could be.
Or look like we were.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, the technology has moved at such a pace, and I think that, you know, we've certainly managed to keep up with it in some respects, with, you know, the studios now being TriCaster focused, you know, our mobile production units, you know, It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, high definition has come and it's here to stay, and we're really lucky that the MHCRC and the management here, the boss has really advocated for us doing this big shift to HD. I mean, it's unique.
And if the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, the MHCRC, had not supported us as much as they have, we would have a lot harder time of it. And one thing I don't know if people realize is how open this facility is to families, to all ages. So it's not just, it's not just retired people, it's not just kids, it's it's anybody and everybody. We have kids as, as 10 years old taking our classes and running cameras and doing a darn good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing that will be the reveal in the video. That you'll get to see people literally from every walk of life, from people who you probably would imagine, they could never be in the same room together, but they come here and
they find a common ground.
Yeah, and they can get on and they can do it. It's great. It's just what we're all about.
It's good community building.
It is. It's an open door policy, and it's fantastic. Serves us well.
I think so too. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate you coming on and sharing that. And you and Emily have done a fantastic job on that video. So I can't wait to see the whole finished product here. So, so we will be back in just a few minutes, and I will be talking with David Hemmer, who is one of our longtime volunteers.
That's right.
My favorite thing about community media is how people find their voice and tell their story.
It's the message of, by, and for a community.
We're a gathering place because it gets people of all sorts of different backgrounds underneath one roof.
It's art, it's technology.
A snapshot of our community.
Going live.
In 3, 2, 1.
Have you ever wanted to create a TV show of your own? Come check out the basic editing class at MetroEast. Our trainers will give you the skills you need to flex your creative muscles. Using our state-of-the-art IMAX and Final Cut Pro 10, you can work with your own videos, add graphics and music, and even drop in cool special effects like green screen and slow motion. The best part? No experience is required. All ages and skill levels are welcome. Find out more on our website at metroeast.org.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.
Hi, thanks for sticking with us here on the Pulse version of the Community Hotline Show. I'm Monica Weitzel, and with me now I'm going to be talking with David Hemmer, who is a volunteer at MetroEast and has been for some time. Welcome, David.
Hi, how you doing, Monica?
Good. Now, you started, tell me about when you started out. When was that, 19?
You know, Sandy and I were just talking about that a few minutes ago, and I think it was 89.
89? That's a long time, David. Well, that's a long time.
I haven't been a hermit here, but
well, I was going to say you aren't all that old. So how old were you when you started with MetroEast?
Well, let's put it in perspective. I was 11 when I believe it was Multnomah Cable Access (MCA) started. And then it was the summer before my junior year of high school.
When you started getting involved with us?
Yeah, my sophomore year, my guidance counselor at Corbett High School said, you know, you've been through all the theater classes and the technical theater. What do you want to do next? And I said, I want to do television. They said, well, we don't have a television program.
Mm-hmm.
And
probably most schools don't.
Most schools didn't at the time. And I said, well, let's get working on it. And they, to their credit, and a few other counselors, helped to start the program here in Multnomah County, I believe. So,
I didn't know that.
And it was a lot of fun.
So what did you do? So you started going to the classes here, or what did you do?
Well, they set up classes, classroom time as well as basically internship time, I believe. If my memory serves, it is getting.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So I did end up spending a lot of time at the then Mountain Community College studio.
Yeah, because we were there for years, and in this location here in Gresham for, I don't know, I spent it less than 10 years, but it's a great facility.
It is. It's terrific.
It's really nice. So what were some of the first projects you worked on?
Oh, I remember working with Laird Ross on some of his...
The gentleman I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. And Larry Smith, who I'm told was...
We'll be talking about him a little
bit more. I know. Seeing the video of some of the people was definitely a blast from the past.
Yeah. And a lot of them are still around.
I did a lot of the municipal shows.
So did you work on them? You were like film
camera operator or audio.
Government meetings and
government
that kind
meetings,
of thing?
Yeah.
So what was what are some of the favorite things that you worked on?
You know, I would really be hard pressed to put a finger on one particular situation or one particular show. But the thing that definitely stands out are all the music shows that I got to work on.
You have a reputation for being good at music shows. I know whenever we have one, people say, let's get David Hemmer to work on that, because you are good at that.
I have a passion for music and theater.
So what's different about doing music shows as opposed to other shows?
Well, there's an expression, I think, that that comes out in music. I mean, we can sit and we can talk all day long about, you know, how do you feel politically? How do you feel about religion? But when music, it kind of crosses all boundaries.
It does.
And it brings out something new and different in everybody. And as a person who prides himself on loving music and being a vocalist and a musician, it just kind of feeds into that, and it's hard to not feel part of that love fest, so to speak, of all those musicians on stage and bring that to other people.
Well, yeah, then you're able to put that on TV so other people can see it, and now all that also goes on the internet, on the web. So, so it's shared all over the world. And that's a pretty cool thing.
It is cool. It is cool.
Yeah. So now you in the future, you were gone for a little while. I know you had some things going on, but you haven't been gone too long. You've never lost touch with us, which I really appreciate. What do you have planned? Do you have any productions planned for the future?
I do. But for me, saying a plan is like, let's just put that out there in the universe and see what happens.
Well,
sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't,
yeah.
as some people will definitely attest.
I know that you have an organization that you are involved with, that you were talking about at one time, maybe doing a show about.
I'm a member of the Society for Creative Anachronism, or SCA.org is the website. I
never remember the name of it. Yes.
It's a volunteer, and it's a nonprofit organization to study pre-17th century art, sciences, and lifestyles. And I'm hoping to bring some music and some interviews of local artisans. When I mean local, I mean people from possibly Washington and as far away,
maybe.
The Northwest in general, but as far away, the kingdom that we belong to is actually Oregon, Washington, part of Idaho, and about half of Canada. So
the kingdom that you belong to. Yeah. I love that.
Well, you know, it's kind of big to say that in broad, but for a lot of us, it's recreation. For some of us, it's a way of life.
Really? It's a big deal, isn't it? I mean,
for some people, it's definitely a big deal.
You're one of the first people I ever heard about it from, and I did a little research and was, wow, this is kind of, I mean,
it's fun.
It sounds like fun.
Much like a lot of things, it's a lot about what you put into it. You get out of it, how you go into it. You know, like I study beer and winemaking and 13th century monastic lifestyles. So
wow. So I think that would make a great show.
Well, I'm hoping so. We're still talking about it.
You could go off from that. I mean, you know, as a producer, you start thinking, okay, could also be segments on the what the people wore during those times, people
Mhm.
on what they ate, on how to make those tools,
Yep.
and, you know, and their weapons, all that kind of stuff.
These are all topics we're already talking about.
So
you've already got it.
And that's why I don't think a lot of people realize that there is that opportunity here at MetroEast to do a show about pretty much anything you want.
You know, I can honestly say that just when I think all the topics have been exhausted here
Mhm.
at MetroEast, I'm proven wrong. Every time I look, there's something new, and I go, wow, somebody took that moment of, I wonder if, and
Yeah.
made it happen.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a really cool thing. And they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a series.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be even a one-time hour-long show. You could do 5-minute snippets
Yeah.
that we would use in place of
Segues,
commercials, because
yeah.
we're not commercial. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have commercials, so you can have, you know, any little thing that is interesting and fun, and or just informational, educational, whatever.
I think the smallest thing I ever did was actually during Christmas time, we did a lot of B-roll of the Grotto.
Oh,
and some of
yeah.
during the Christmas season,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
and put some a local musician to it for just little 30-second a minute segments. And
Perfect.
it's all
I'd
it
rather
needs
watch
to be.
that than a commercial for, you know, a new car or whatever. I think that's great. Good. Well, if somebody is interested in joining MetroEast and becoming a volunteer here, what advice would you give for them if maybe they were unsure about starting out with us?
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
No, seriously, don't be afraid. It's life's meant to be experienced, in my opinion. It's just, you know, go out and give it your all.
Mhm.
But if you're really nervous about it, get with the staff here, because they're great at helping you find what you're good at, or at
Mhm.
least going, hey, you're not sure about this, let's try this.
Right.
You know,
right.
and at least taking you through the steps of getting you started. And you can go, you know, I'm not so sure about that. Okay, let's try this then.
Yeah, some
So-
people are good at that, being a producer. They plan, they,
Mhm.
you know, get everything mapped out, and they're really good at that, and getting guests or getting, you know, working out all the details ahead of time. Some people are great at the editing afterwards. Some
Yeah.
people want to be, you know, in front of the camera, or they just want to run a camera. There's so many roles that people can have, and there's really something, I think, for everybody. So.
You know, if it doesn't have to be as big as some film credit roles,
Right,
you know,
which is overwhelming.
Which can be overwhelming, especially
Yeah.
nowadays where there seems to be a position for picking up the trash. You know,
Yeah.
that has to get credited, but you know, don't be afraid. That's the one thing is don't allow yourself to be afraid, because if you do, you basically just shortcut yourself from something you could possibly love the rest of your life.
I think that's a really good advice, David. And like I was saying earlier, there's no age limits. There's something for everybody.
That's funny you should mention that, because I think when I was here, I was at that point in time the youngest producer, and then about a year, I could be wrong, but a couple years later, there was a 12-year-old kid.
Mark Carabas, I think.
No,
a different one?
Buckmaster, I believe.
Oh, okay. That's a different one,
David
then.
Buckmaster, I believe, was who it was, and he beat me out by a few years. So I was just
Keep getting younger and
They
younger.
keep younger and younger.
Well,
I
they
know.
catch on so fast.
My
you know?
my 12-year-old wants to get started.
Oh,
So
what's taking him so long?
Well, he lives in Silverton.
Oh, okay. But you know, we'd welcome him here. So.
Of course.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Do you have any last words? Any that you want to share with us?
It's really exciting to see all this. I came into the studio today and saw equipment. It's been a few months, only about 6 months, and I'm already coming in. I'm like, what's all this equipment lined up on the wall? And then I look over and there's a brand new switcher and soundboard. And I'm like,
that huge.
something new every time I'm here,
Yeah.
and it's exciting. It really is. It rivals professional studios that I've seen, and it's just amazing.
And I know
It
you've
really
worked
is.
in that field, right? So you know what you're talking about.
It is very exciting. Just that's what I say. Don't be afraid. Come try it out. If even the smallest idea that you have, indulge it. Come talk to somebody at least, and maybe they'll help you pick it up. And that's.
And we have a lot of people here.
A lot
to
of
help.
people that will do that
And
for you.
volunteers and staff will help.
Yeah.
You know, work you through it. So yeah, thank you so much, David. I really
It's great
appreciate
to
you
be
being
here.
here. Thanks. So now we're going to just take a little break here, and then we're going to be back. But we will be talking with. Let's see. We'll see some past faces of MetroEast.
More past faces.
More past faces of MetroEast, I believe. So
Is there a picture of me with hair? Or?
we didn't go that far back.
Okay.
No. let's see what we've got. Let's take a look at. We'll be right back, and I'll be back with Taj, and we'll finish up the show telling a little bit more about Larry Smith and some of the other volunteers here.
Right.
said, Jim, I want you to start working with Patty to see if we can develop some other programs.
And what kind of productions do they usually work on? Can you think of any?
Well, a lot of them produce their own shows, and they have their charitable organizations, their churches.
And what projects have you worked on this last year?
The Mystic and Mickey Parker's Singles on Parade.
Singles on Parade now, do you think?
Been on it.
You were?
Yes.
I just completed a program working with the Youth Employment Support Services where we hired at-risk youth.
This ordinance will be on the council agenda on September 16th. So first, what is a truancy reduction ordinance?
Thanks for joining me again, Taj.
Like magic, yes.
Like magic. So David was great, wasn't he?
I was sitting in the control room listening to. Now I've heard the stories of his kingdom and what him and his wife do. I did not know he started here when he was 11.
Amazing, isn't it?
That is crazy. Like I said, it is. It's truly a unique thing that we have volunteers that start here when they are in middle school and then
families come in here.
Exactly.
Families come in and the kids tag along and they're kind of helping out. And pretty soon they're running the camera, and next thing you know, they're producing their own shows. And that's, I mean, what a great thing to have on your resume for one thing.
Yeah,
but,
and there are quite a few families that do that as well. I mean, I can think of literally 4 just right off the top of my head, where the kids are certified and they come in here and they run camera.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a great thing.
What a fun family thing to do.
Yeah.
I think it's a...
I think me and my husband will make a show.
I think you should. You certainly could. And I enjoyed talking with David Hemmer, and we also mentioned some of the other volunteers. Larry Smith is one whose name always comes up.
Oh yes, the illustrious Larry Smith.
He's been here, what, 25 years now?
Larry the Body Smith.
The Body Smith.
Well, no, he corrected me because he has been here for just about the 30 years.
Oh. He just hasn't had a show that long. He's only had a show.
No, he started with Tush Aerobics.
I remember him telling me that. I forgot about that.
He started with Tush Aerobics, absolutely. And here's the funny thing. So, and like I said, I've seen him teach his classes. He does aerobics, for those that don't know. And I've seen him teach his classes. You see him in the studio. I even ran into him on the train, one of the train platforms coming to Gresham. Yeah. And he is that same intensity, that same excitement every time you see him. He's always on. But so yeah, he has been here since Tush Aerobics, which is almost 30 years ago, I believe. Wow. And we actually have kind of a clip that chronicles, it's like literally.
Larry hasn't really changed very much.
No, he hasn't. I don't know what he's drinking, but I think I need to do
Fountain of Youth.
An exercise show for the next 30 years. Maybe I can look like Larry when I'm Larry's age. So let's watch that clip and we can see it, Larry, through the years.
I would absolutely love that.
We're gonna start out stepping, right leg, and reaching across the body. Let's go. Reach, reach. Nice and easy. That's it, 8 more.
We need a touchdown. Good. No, it's all good arm work. Now, step clap forward. March back. Knee step. Step clap forward. Let's do it again.
You at home, you can modify any way you want to. Okay, here comes a new step. Knee lift to the outside.
Work it, work it.
If you have a passion for fitness or would like to work in community television, contact me. I'd love to have you on my team. Contact me at thebodysmith@hotmail.com.
So great.
And that ending clip is literally like 80s. And the clip where he's in the studio, you can see that. I mean, he has not aged a bit. But again, his
shorts are longer now.
His shorts are longer. Oh, no more. Yes, absolutely. But that is, again, another, like David was sitting here before, that is another testament to the fact that volunteers get in here and they really see the value in what they do and the services the resources that they bring to the community. Because Larry meets people I think he had a lady here working on his show that had actually watched his show at home and got interested in working.
I'm sure that's happened more than once.
So it's MetroEast Community Media. I can't say enough about the organization. I've only been here 3 years, but
so you're one of the newer ones.
I haven't been here for 30 years, but it's just I'm always amazed being a volunteer, working in kind of the volunteer area. You know that because people have lives that they volunteer for a spell and then you don't see them. But like I said, we have volunteers that have been here literally since we were at the college, since the door, as David reminded me, since the doors opened.
Yeah, and some that just, like you said, they have other things come up, so they're gone for a while, they come back.
And
they
then
go to college,
come back.
They come back.
Exactly.
They come back when they retire.
They
come
have
back.
families, and then they come back. They don't leave,
and bring their
that
families.
is okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We work in such a great place.
I know,
This
we're
is
so
such
lucky.
a great place to work.
So we have.
And if I can say, I almost forgot. But he was one of our Lifetime Achievement Award recipients today, or recognition recipients. Yeah,
this year.
Yeah, this year.
Well, and this being our 30th year, we had several
we
people
did
that we
the
honored.
Stosers
Martin
and
Sharon Stoser.
absolutely Riney Horst and they're like I said, so many great people that come through this organization.
I know they're wonderful. So and like I said before, we couldn't do it without them. Happy to have them here. And if other people are interested, we always have those free orientations every month.
Absolutely.
So people can come in, and the workshops that we have, so reasonable. You know, we can work with you to make sure you get those, and then we switch it around. So 1 month it may be a weekend. If that doesn't work for you, the next month it might be in the evening on a Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever. We try to make it easy for people.
And do you know what else, Monica?
What, Taj?
I just have to bring this up again because it's next weekend. And it is our second annual Friends and Family Day open house.
That's already coming up, isn't it?
It is already coming up. That is September 20th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here at MetroEast Community Media. Lots of
Northwest
fun.
8th Street, corner of 8th and Cleveland and Gresham.
That is where we are. We'll have balloons outside, and we expect to see everybody there. It's going to be a great
That's
opportunity.
Free. Come on in.
Yeah,
free food.
free food and free games, and it's great for all of the kids. We did a little passport thing last year where kids got stamps, and so it's a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the community members come in and meeting new faces.
Maybe Larry will be here, and they could say hey to Larry. And
I'm telling you,
do a little workout in the studio.
Our very own Mike Canty, which there was a clip of him in that
a long
in
time
that
ago.
30-year retrospective. But he actually produced a nice little promo that's been running on the channel that I've been emailing out to people. So I think we should watch that right now.
Okay, sounds good. That was really fun.
That was a fun promo. There was a little, that was my mother-in-law on the Radical Surf Machine.
Doing the little tumble and roll. She was demonstrating how not to do it, right?
Yes, the tuck and roll method of falling off the Radical Surf
hilarious.
Machine, yes.
How fun was that? That was great.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And you know what the funny thing about that day is we set up the green screen for the kids because we're like, kids are going to love this. But there were more adults on the green screen playing.
I know, it was fun. And then we had that photo booth where everybody had like little
Absolutely. The photo booth was going, and you know, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We'll have balloon animals this year. I think that's
good.
the addition that we'll have this year. So again, folks want to come out and
I think I had 3 hot dogs last year.
I didn't even count.
Oh, okay, okay.
Did not even count.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. So September 20th from noon to 4.
Yes.
And just come on in, and there's parking on the street, parking in the lot behind us, and next to us. And
we're chock full of parking around
here.
here.
We're good to go. So, or we are also right off the Max line.
That is, yes,
so
that is true.
Yeah,
right
so
off the Max.
People can come in.
Right
They have
off
to
that
walk
blue
a whole
line.
block. They can get here. So if you can handle that. So I appreciate you being on here tonight, helping out with the Pulse.
I always love coming on here. Well, it's fun.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you spent your last 3 years here to help us celebrate our 30th. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Now I'll be going. No.
Thanks so much for watching Community Hotline's version, the Community Hotline version of the Pulse. Pulse version of Community Hotline.
Can I say something real quick?
Well, I can't stop you.
Don't forget that you can catch this episode and episodes of Community Hotline, Paranormal Crossings, and Highway to Health on the Bodysmith on our Cloudcast channel, which is MetroEast.peg.tv.
The Mount Hood Jazz Fest, all that stuff.
All of that stuff. You can watch it when you want to.
There you go, on demand. Thanks, Taj. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here next week with more of Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. Good night.